Good morning, Garden. It's a beautiful day here in Orlando, Florida, and I want to talk about one of the biggest issues in the gardening industry, in my personal opinion. Stay with me to the end. I'm gonna give you some tips, and I'm gonna teach you what to do when you start getting all these beautiful catalogs with all these beautiful pictures, all these beautiful things that they tell you you can grow. But you know what? It's not that simple, and it doesn't always work like that. Number one, if you live in Florida, heirlooms, seeds don't work most of the time. Why? Because our climate, our humidity, our pet pressure, it can be devastated for any of this. So there you are in your garden, or you start doing things and everything dies, and you feel like a failure, you feel like you don't have a green thumb, you feel like it's nothing that you do works. Don't get into this trap, because it's not how it works. Hybrids are good, especially for Florida. There's nothing wrong with it. It's couple tomatoes that they breed together to be more disease resistant, heat tolerance, and so on. So that doesn't mean just because it's a hybrid, it's something that is horrible. It's basically these two tomatoes might get cross-pollinated. This is a Josinato and this is a Florida 91, and then you get a new tomato, and then that tomato might be stronger than another tomato. That is a hybrid, guys. So stick to hybrids. If you live in Florida, you can try as a novelty couple heirlooms, but be prepared for failure most of the time. Number two, remember, this is a trap. We live in a society that everything is thrown into our eyes. When you get all these catalogs, do your research. What does work in my climate? What doesn't work in my zone? What does work in my microclimate? Because, I live in Orlando, Florida, and some stuff that works in Kissimmee, which is pretty close, it might not work here. So research what seeds are good for you. That's number two. And number three, save your seeds. Don't get into this nonsense. If you save your seeds, number one, you're gonna save a lot of money. Then these plants already grow in your climate, so they're gonna get more used to the place you live. For example, this cilantro that you see right here, I'm gonna be saving those seeds. You see those romaine lettuce here? I'm gonna be saving those seeds, and that's gonna save me a lot of money. Do you see these other romaine lettuce here? I'm gonna be saving those seeds because they're gonna work better for me next time. I'm gonna give you another example. Did you see this arugula that I planted right here? I know I cannot grow that right now. It's gonna be heat. It's gonna be high. It's gonna be crazy humidity, but it's gonna flower. The pollinators are gonna love it, and then I'm gonna harvest the seed. And so on. I do that with a lot of stuff. Some of the onions that I harvest yesterday, I gonna take the little ones, I'm gonna cut the top, and what am I gonna do? I'm gonna plant it. Why? Because I'm gonna collect the seeds. Short day long onions, this is what it is. If I save the seeds, that's gonna save me money next year. The same thing with a lot of things that you can save in your garden, and you will collect the seeds, and it's gonna save you a lot of money. So don't get in this trap. Be smart, guys. You know what I mean? Sometimes we just knew, we don't know. And I'm telling you, the reason I'm telling you this is because that was my biggest mistake when I started gardening. I went online, I searched all this, I started buying a lot of stuff. I watched all these videos from other places in United States. And guess what? My first year in my vegetable garden was a disaster, a complete failure. And I felt like I was not gonna be able to do it. I felt like I was not good enough. But at the end of the day, that was not the case. The case was like I was buying things that don't even work here. I was watching things that they had nothing to do with my climate, my microclimate, the humidity, the pest pressure that we get here. And if you want to stay organic, or at least 100, or at least like 90, 80% organic, if you do hybrids, you'll do better. And you won't have to use as many pesticides. You won't have to use as many chemicals to protect your garden. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, here is the proof. 4 years later, you can see how everything is looking. Cabbage, peppers, beans, leeks, more peppers, bunching onions, tomatoes, bok choys. Look at these tomatoes and peppers coming in. Look at these tomatoes. Look at the eggplants. Look at the harvest with the onions. So every time that I tell you something is because I've been there, done that, and I learned from my mistakes. And then if you want to have this kind of harvest, follow these few tips, and I promise you, you're going to be successful. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and be smart. It's your money, your time, your investment. Go out there, do something. Bye now.